Hi everybody, this is Purposefun Friday with Yoli Inch. Now, today's Purposefun Friday will be a little bit different because I'm going to be sharing with you some of the insights I've discovered and I've felt from the Social Enterprise World Forum that was held in Brisbane last week. And with that, I'll also be providing some of the resources from the forum in the email that will be sent to you or with the link below on the YouTube channel. So I'll get started. Now, the Social Enterprise World Forum was held in Brisbane last week and about 2,600 people attended, 900 online, and they covered people from all over the world and all cultures, all nationalities, and it was phenomenal to have so many people present in one place, particularly after the pandemic. And there was so much energy and excitement and just laughter in the room when we're all together. So it was a really beautiful experience. Now, I do need to give a big shout out to White Box Enterprises that coordinated the event, and they did such an amazing job to make it run so smoothly and seamlessly, and yet with so much inspiration, and everything that they used just worked beautifully. And of course, supported by the Queensland Social Enterprise Council, and Elise Parapus and her wonderful team did a great job. So congratulations. Now, what I want to share with you is some of these insights, which I'll just list to you and then give you a bit of information about the session that I attended. Now, it was very interesting with everybody present that a really common theme was the importance of place-based approach or place-based practice, whereby working collaboratively to create thriving local communities and working locally for economies and communities was very important. And that you needed to work with others, whether they government or business, members of the community, other not-for-profits and schools, whatever, working collaboratively, and a local approach was really important. And that was key across the board. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goals was another very important message. So even though they want everyone to look at local-based practice, you also needed to connect that with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, because you want to be able to show how you're initiating change for the world locally. So it was important for all the organizations to be really clear about which of these 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals were being put into practice. So you need to be looking at that for your organization, which we did show or give you some information on that last Friday, but I recommend that you go into it a bit more deeply. Be clear about that. Now, of course, partnership and collaboration is always important, but this was emphasized continually across the board. And not only partnership and collaboration with other like-minded organizations and even like-minded businesses and even local governments, but also with your community members and with your customers and your consumers or clients, whichever language you use. So that was very important. And a part of that was about how you work together. Now, what we say in the sector or in social enterprise and not-for-profit is co-designing and co-creating. Now, when you're talking with business, they probably prefer words like engaging or even for some yarning, using a language where you're actually talking with others. So that was really important. What also was important was aligning with your local, state or territory's government strategy. Now, your strategy, your government strategy around social enterprise, or if you work with a particular target group, around that target group. So making sure you're always connecting back to that and demonstrating to your government how you're putting into practice what they want to achieve. A really key emphasis also was, how might we? Use that question, how might we initiate this change? How might we work together? How might we solve this problem? So work with that. It was interesting that philanthropic funders are also now starting to see social enterprise as a great opportunity to initiate change, and are starting to look how the philanthropic funders can actually support social enterprise more readily through their foundations. One thing that I heard was really interesting is not so much that knowledge is power, but knowledge is responsibility. That was a particular First Nations message. Knowledge is responsibility. So how can you act on that responsibility? Something that was also really important is making sure that you have a clear theory of change, because many philanthropic and government funders are really interested in your social change. Now, we'll be exploring social change, your theory of social change, later as a Purposefun Friday. Another thing that was very important was recognizing that a lot of people in social enterprises and not-for-profits are feeling rather tired, are feeling rather drained, because we're always trying to initiate change. We're always trying to address these big, complex problems. So remembering to focus on yourself, breathe, enjoy things for yourself, find your little purpose fun that you can actually gain some sense of joy from. So remembering to focus on you. Other things that were really interesting was that the importance of sharing stories, making sure that your storytelling is out there so that others can actually hear what you're trying to do, see what you're trying to do, so that they can come on board. They can support you. They can donate. They can actually come up with joint ventures that they can work with you on. So storytelling and story showing and story sharing was very, very important. And the beauty of that is actually making sure that you have really good marketing to be able to do that. And that was the session that I'll be sharing a little bit later. Now, Dylan Alcott also reminded on the importance of listening to and engaging with people with lived experience, particularly in his case, people with a disability, so that we're not actually, taking on their story, but listening to their story, listening to how they want to initiate change for themselves, and how can we work with them in being able to achieve that. It was also really important to recognise that social enterprise was a great model for addressing climate issues, and there were a lot of good examples present at the forum. Now, one session that I really enjoyed was Amplify Your Message. And in Amplify Your Message, Jaison Hoernel, I hope I got that right, his social enterprise, Good Cycles, actually gave some examples of how they work with their marketing and their messaging to be able to gain greater impact and greater support by their community, and with it, lots of extra funding. So he said, to create your roadmap, you need to ask 4 key questions. The first is, what are my business goals? The second is, what are my sales goals? The third is, what are my financial goals? And the fourth, what are my key messages that I need to take out there? So I recommend working with those 4 key questions. Now, also in this session, there are a swag of resources that Job Bank provided, which we will send to you via our email and the link below so that you can tap into them. And one of them is about how to create a marketing strategy. Another one was a canvas for stories for impact. Another one was a marketing strategy canvas. Another one was a marketing plan template, and then a list of other resources with URLs that you can click onto. So I really recommend reading through those resources. They're beautifully written, simple and easy to understand, so that you can create a fantastic story and amplify your message. Now, the Social Enterprise World Forum was phenomenal. It was inspiring, it was inclusive, and yet real, particularly in terms of the issues that we all have to address, and then also full of laughter, particularly with the co-MC. And his name was Brett DeHoet from Hootville Communications. He was absolutely brilliant. Now, the organisers, White Box Enterprises, supported by QSEC, were able to bring such diverse groups of people together, yet of like mind, and with similar focus about initiating change. And together, we're all such good-hearted people. They did a great job bringing us together so seamlessly. And such new opportunities have already emerged. And I think we need to find out what great projects have come from the Social Enterprise World Forum in Australia. Now, as Dion Payne, a lovely woman that I connected prior to that, but really encouraged her to attend, who founded High Impact Property Investment, she said, investing into social enterprise that deliver financial, social, cultural, and environmental returns is a powerful act that will change the world. And I really support what she says. But I really want to leave with you with a message from this wonderful and inspiring young woman. Her name is India Miro Logan Riley. And she said, action is the quickest pathway to hope. So I hope you have great action to contribute to the world that we want to live into today. So go to the Social Enterprise World Forum website, read more about their programs, what happened over those 2 days, and there'll be many more opportunities to see what happened from those days. Have a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye.